Okay, and we're recording.
You were working it.
Okay.
Yes. I'm having a come to Jesus moment.
Recording.
Over here
Are you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Come to Buddha.
I know.
check
Can we
your
jump out of our
mic.
seat if we need to? If the spirit
Yes! Amen, girl. Amen.
walk around. Ding, 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 ding,
Might not
ding,
talk
ding,
then.
you know, get it. Get the-
I'm talking the speech.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Great. Alright, so we're ready?
Yes.
I feel like that sometimes though, like the song come on, and you just have to like jump up and you're like, woo!
Right. So, so what is it that you...
Wait, start again. I'm just picking my nose.
Alright. So, tell me like what it is that you feel like that you can express in drag that you maybe don't do in your day-to-day life.
I'll go ahead. I had a roommate who's kind of like seeing my evolution of drag and kind of like where I'm at today and from where I started from. And one of the things that he noticed that I do in drag is that I kind of channel this, you know, this kind of sexually liberated, like fears, kind of raw energy that I don't necessarily tap into when I'm kind of boy presenting. I was saying like, you know, as a boy I look like Mr. Rogers, but it's like, you know, layers and cardigans and whatnot. But
Which
it's
means
just
she
like,
goes home and plays with puppets.
you know, I shop at American Apparel. But then like, you know, in drag it's just kind of like, you know, it's more body conscious type of things. That's another thing, you know, I feel more body positive and accepting of all of me in drag than when I do as boy. Like when I'm boy, it's like, you know, long cardigan, because I have like hips like a woman, you know what I mean? And I feel like whenever I do drag, it's perfect, you know what I mean? It's like, that's it, you know?
Right.
And that's when I can like show off my thighs and not care about it, you know what I mean? And just like really accept my body for what it is.
Yeah.
So he was saying like it would be interesting also to like as I grow as a performance artist, just to kind of like what would that look like to tap into as male presenting? You know, how could I do a performance where I'm male presenting but also like sexual and free and also just kind of like embracing my body as this like masculine figure as well.
Right.
So it's something I look forward to kind of like down the line. So
Right.
yeah.
I relate to a lot about what you were saying with the body image because as a gay man, it's a rough world out there.
It is.
You know,
Ooh.
if you don't fit into this perfect mold, this perfect stereotype, you know, it's just like no one's going to give you the time of the day. And we spend so much time and so much energy trying to fit into this thing that, and we can't just be ourselves. And for me, the things that I'm really insecure about are the fact that I'm wicked skinny, despite the fact that I eat more than anyone I know. Everyone calls me anorexic, right? And that I'm really tall. And people call me on this all the time. You know, people on the street, the first thing, even when I walked in here today, three of you commented, oh, you're so tall, you know.
Right.
And that used to really hurt because it was like, it's just calling out my otherness. Like, you're over there, you're different. You're something different. And when I'm in drag, I get to take those things. I get to take that I'm a skinny little bitch and that I'm wearing heels and I'm 7 feet tall in my heels and I get to own it, right? So it's like I get to own those parts of myself that sometimes in other situations are a source of insecurity.
You get to embrace your otherness.
Right.
I love that.
And it's like when I'm in control of it, when I get to be a
choice.
controlled performer, I get to choose these things, then it's so much more free, you know, and I get to really work it. You know?
Okay.
And then I love it when people comment that I'm a skinny bitch and I'm wicked tall because I'm like, I know I'm wearing, you know, 6-inch heels right now.
Exactly. And a tube dress that I got from Gap Kids.
Right?
And what?
I love it. All these times I go out and bitches ask me, why do you need heels? You're already so tall. And I'm like, girl, why do you wear a push-up bra?
Right.
It takes what you got and it makes it even better.
Exactly.
You
and
know?
if you wore flats, they'd be coming for you then too.
Right?
So it's just like, please.
So I totally relate to that, right?
Yeah.
It's like a heightened sense of yourself almost.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like there's anything that drag has brought out of you? And you kind of mentioned it a little bit, Cleo, but like that idea that because you've done drag, it's allowed you to express something that now you can kind of take back to your boy self, if you will. Like, do you feel like there's something you've taken out of drag that you use maybe in your day-to-day or maybe in other situations of your life?
I definitely use it when I work with spiritual clients. I'm a spiritual counselor and witness blessing giver. And when I work with people, we always close our sessions with a Madonna dance party.
Yeah.
Because we set, we do all of our work and we're sharing, we're getting being vulnerable, we do our meditation together, we set our intentions, we write it down, and then we get that dance party, because it's like the celebration is the feeling energy, the feeling vibration of just this like light and this fire, and it just like sinks into the core of your being. And it's like that kundalini energy flowing through you, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely informs my life on a day-to-day basis, that celebration energy.
Yeah, that's awesome. For me, it's just like, as drag queens are kind of expected to kind of be these like sassy or just like on fire creatures,
right.
You know what I mean? And I can be that too, but in some ways it's kind of reversal. I'm more able to bring more of like my spiritual everyday self into my drag. And then vice versa, what the drag gives my everyday self is just a little bit more confidence in situations, and kind of like no holds barred, or just kind of like not, I don't know. I feel like for the longest time I'm just kind of like, there's a difference between letting things happen to you or just kind of like making things happen,
Right.
And I feel like with drag, it gives you that fire to just kind of like in your everyday life to just kind of be like, okay, this isn't working, so on to the next.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like you get to kind of like, I don't know, I feel like for me it's kind of more editing, I feel like whenever I do drag, you can throw on the whole closet and then
Right.
you gotta, okay, I can't go out like this. So you have to edit yourself. So you edit yourself, you clean this up, you do that, you do this, and put this together, make that look like that. And it's just like how, like, getting ready and just kind of like in your everyday life, can you incorporate those things, those elements to kind of like building this look? How can you incorporate that into your everyday life when you like wake up and go out, you know what I mean? And into the world. And it's just kind of like, drag gives us the opportunity to make things beautiful. How can we do that in our everyday life? How can we take like a meal that we're preparing, or just kind of like a social interaction, and make it an experience, a beautiful experience, I think that's one of the huge things that I like.
It sounds like it allows you to bring everything to the table and then choose what you want to do with it a little bit more. I think you guys both kind of talked about that ability to be able to kind of just own it all together, and then maybe just hold it a little bit differently.
And I don't know if this has been your experience, Miss Cleo, but my experience as a drag queen is that there's this expectation that you're supposed to be reading on people, you're supposed to be throwing shade, you're supposed to be bitchy, you're supposed to be able to do personalities, and that's not what I'm about,
Yeah.
I think it's all about unconditional love. And being drag for me is like, this is the expression of my most powerful creative self. This is the creative energy channeling through me. And that's one of the reasons, I'm not a huge fan of RuPaul's Drag Race. I love what it's done for the drag community, for sure. It's brought us together, brought us awareness. But I don't like that you have to be able to read when you go on that show. Why should we have to throw shade at each other, Why can't we embrace each other and support each other, right? And so being in drag is like this creative expression. It's not about competing. It's not about winning. It's like, it's about painting a picture, And I would never put my beautiful picture up to compete against another picture. It has its own intrinsic value. I have my own intrinsic value. Each of us has our own intrinsic value that is called forth.
Yeah.
And my drag is like the most creative part of that. So it's not about competing. It's not about being bitchy. It's about like loving and supporting each other. Yeah. I mean, do you find that? Because I think we have a similar look on life.
I do. That's what I was saying earlier. I was like, I feel sometimes like a haphazard drag queen. Because it's just like one of those things where it's like I started doing it and it was more like for me. You know what I mean? And I would go out into these social settings. And as I kind of went along, I wasn't necessarily doing shows at the gay bars or anything. I don't think I've yet to perform in a gay bar.
We'll do it, honey.
Oh God.
I'm pulling you in.
Oh, one time I did, and it was just kind of like it was like, okay, our next performer. So it was just kind of like, but that's the thing. It's just like I never really did it for the bar scene or the gay scene. It was just kind of like for me, but yet I don't like people ask me to do it, so I do it. You know what I mean? And so it's just kind of like, that's why I feel you know, it's just kind of like our own thing. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like
it's a unique
for
expression.
us. Absolutely, and it's just kind of like, why go out there with this expression and tear somebody else down, or try and make someone else feel less than? I feel like drag queens, we're either feared or we are applauded, you know, and it's just kind of like, either one is cool, but I want to know more so why I'm feared rather than why I'm applauded. You know, and also I want to kind of counteract that fear with love and kindness. You know what I mean? And be someone in the community that is, you know, it's just like I'm walking down the street, you know, you're just kind of like, I don't know, you think of like floral arrangements, you know what I mean? How they just make a space prettier.
Because no one else can be this right now.
Right.
No one else can be Chloe. No one else can be Penny.
Cleo.
And that's
No, it's all good.
No one else can be Cleo Pockalipps. No one else can be Tration.
Yes.
You know, even within the drag community, I find that it's like there's this pressure to do it a certain way.
Right.
Do your makeup a certain way.
Right.
Do your lips a certain way.
Right.
Did you get that tuck right? You know, it's like, it's not about being a certain way. It's about being you. And I burst outside of that because drag is about, you know, expressing a new piece of my gender that's repressed the rest of the time. And so if I don't want to shave my legs, I don't shave. If I want to do my makeup a certain way, I won't. If I don't want to put hip pads in, I'm not gonna, you know.
Right.
I can do it my way because it's an expression.
Right.
It's a unique expression.
Absolutely.
Just like you were saying, a beautiful flower.
Yes, we're walking flower arrangements.
I know as somebody who's not been a part of like a drag queen within the drag community, I've always kind of felt like on the outside, and I've always struggled with that, like that cattiness and that banter back and forth, and you know, I always had perceived it as mean-spirited, but the longer I've spent with drag queens that maybe kind of take that point of view and kind of express themselves in that way,